One voice ominously mentioned feeding time. Then I felt as though I was pushed against a wall, my arms pinned back. I felt utterly helpless. I saw what appeared to be a hairball with shark teeth approaching me.
Greetings, my dear friend. Welcome to the NDE Library, your gateway to incredible journeys beyond life. In today's scary episode, we journey into an extraordinary near-death experience that defies explanation. From the tragic loss of loved ones and a grueling battle with cancer to a surreal encounter in the depths of hell, this story will leave you questioning reality. And if you've ever wondered about the thin line between life, death, heaven, and, well, a place not so heavenly, you won't want to miss this. But before we dive in, if you enjoy our content, remember to hit that like button and subscribe. Now let's journey beyond the veil together.
Before I begin, I feel that I need to share a bit about myself. In November 2003, about 3 months prior, I lost both my mother and a friend whom I wanted to ask out. My mom died due to injuries from a car accident, while my friend passed away in a plane accident that we both were on. In that accident, I broke my left ankle and subsequently took leave from the Army. Just 3 days later, I learned of my mom's passing. I mention both individuals because they feature in my experience. A few months after returning home, I was diagnosed with stomach cancer. I underwent treatment and grappled with the effects it had on me. I was informed that one of the medications carried a heart attack risk, albeit 1 in a million. Several weeks into the treatment, I began experiencing mild chest pains and decided to rest. My brother, an Army medic at the time, checked on me after an hour. When he did, I told him about the heavy sensation in my chest and severe heartburn. He took my blood pressure and advised me to stay calm. He then realized I was having a heart attack. He instructed my stepmom to dial 911 and began administering first aid. Together, they tended to me until the firefighters arrived. In the emergency room, my body felt numb, and my vision started to darken. My hearing faded, but I recall the doctor saying, "No, we can't lose him. Let's keep going. I don't want to lose him, he's just a kid. Give me another round of EPI charged to 360 and keep bagging him." Then everything turned pitch black and eerily silent. Next, I perceived myself in what seemed like a waiting room with my doctor speaking to my dad. I saw my brother, who had been assisting in the ER, walking in, looking distraught, lamenting, "What did I do wrong? With all my training, I couldn't save my own brother." I tried reassuring him, but he couldn't hear me. Then I recalled my sister's recount of her near-death experience from weeks earlier. Realizing I might be dead, I wondered about the heavenly features she'd described. But all I experienced was darkness, followed by a replay of my memories. This void soon filled with a foggy atmosphere. I felt myself moving down a shadowy corridor when voices beckoned me forward, assuring me everything was fine. But something felt off. Despite their insistence that my earthly time was over, I yearned to turn back. Every time I hesitated, the voices pressed me to continue. Finally, I demanded clarity about my location and our destination. The voices declared I had reached my final place. Then, a scent reminiscent of sulfur pervaded the air. The voices mockingly stated that this was the consequence of my life's actions. As I tried to understand my surroundings, their laughter echoed back my questions. Fearing I was in hell, especially since this wasn't the heavenly depiction my sister shared, I grew more alarmed when my innermost thoughts echoed aloud. The voices taunted that no heaven awaited me, claiming this was my deserved paradise. One voice ominously mentioned feeding time. Then I felt as though I was pushed against a wall, my arms pinned back. I felt utterly helpless. I saw what appeared to be a hairball with shark teeth approaching me. Glancing to my right, I noticed that the sources of the voices were little monsters morphing between hairballs and their monstrous form. They were grotesque, resembling a fusion of snakes, bats, and some horned creature. Their bodies resembled snakes with wings, their arms and hands reminiscent of bats. Their faces were snake-like, but with fangs that looked like those of bats. On their heads were pointed horns unlike any earthly creatures. As they turned into hairballs, I asked what was happening to me. They laughed and told me to shut up, and I could hear my feelings out loud. Then they started coming at me, and as they did, I felt sick to my stomach. I remember thinking, why is this happening? Where is my mom and where is God? Then I felt them feeding on me. I looked down at what I thought was my body and parts were gone. I then looked at them and my body parts were in their mouths. Then one of them said, "We told you already that this is your heaven and we are your God." I don't know why I did this, but I started saying the 23rd Psalm aloud and they stopped feeding for a few seconds. One of them said that it wasn't going to help me now. I kept on saying, "The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures for his name's sake." It was then they curled into a pile and yelled, "There is nobody to save you." I kept on saying the 23rd Psalm, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me." I then felt my arms go free. I was standing, and they were crowding in this pile, saying there was no one to help me now. I felt that I had to say the psalm all the way to find my way out of this place, which I now felt was hell. So with everything I had in me, I tried to recall every word that I could say. He leads me beside still waters, and he restores my soul. You set a table before me in the face of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. At that point, I started feeling a wonderful sensation come over me, and I had to close my eyes. Then I heard a voice say, "Joe, it's me, open your eyes, it's really going to be okay." I recognized the voice as my friend whom I had wanted to ask out back in November 2003, just before she was killed in a plane crash that we were both in. Then she said, "Sandy, he's too scared to open his eyes right now. Maybe you can get him to open them?" Then I knew that I heard my mom because she said, "Joe, my sweet Thanksgiving baby." My mom would always call me her sweet Thanksgiving baby because I was born in November. "You're okay now. The worst part is over. Open your eyes, baby. It's okay to be scared, but you need to open your eyes now, my little sweet pea. Please for me, baby." When I did open my eyes, I saw her standing before me, hugging me, and she told me to look down. When I did, I saw my body was whole again. The parts that were bitten off were back on my body. She told me that I was okay now and that I had a choice to make, but first, she wanted to show me a few things. She took my hand, and we were off. The first thing she showed me was a castle. It looked very old and very beautiful. I could see knights on horseback riding off into battle. I could also see the castle was on a very green hillside. I could also see shepherds with their flocks grazing on the hillside. I then asked my mom if I could feel the grass because I had not seen such a hillside before. She took me down so I could, and as we got close, I could smell the grass. It smelled like watermelon. It was so sweet smelling that it was overpowering, and I wanted to eat a piece because I thought it was watermelon. My mom told me that I couldn't. It was for the sheep to eat. The next thing she showed me was an ocean. It wasn't one that was on Earth. The water was a dark navy blue. I would almost say it was cobalt blue. My mom said it was okay for me to take a drink of water. When I did, it was so good. It was like having a raspberry snow cone. It was like nothing I had ever had, and have yet to have again. She told me that this ocean is where they all come to drink and to unwind a bit. She then said she had one last thing to show me. It wasn't a very happy thing to show, but she had to. I told her it was fine. If she had to show it, then it was okay. I wasn't going to stop her from showing me. It was part of what she had to do. She took me to our house and inside the rooms, and I saw my family. I felt the great loss they were experiencing without me in their lives. I could feel a profound sadness and wonder about what could have been for me in my life. I asked my mom if this is what Mandy went through when she had her near-death experience. Mom said no, that her near-death experience wasn't the same as mine. Everyone is different, therefore everyone has a different experience. Mandy hasn't done the same things that I have done, and she hasn't yet done what had been asked of her. She still has things she has to do before she is shown any of what I was seeing. I then asked my mom if the reason she was showing me this was to help me decide if I was going to stay with her or go back to my dad and my family on Earth. She said yes. She wanted me to choose between the places I could be in. Then she said I had to stand before someone and it was time to go before him now. She told me not to be scared of what was going to happen next. Then we were off to what she called the point of choice. When we got there, there was a vast scene to my right side. Then a bright light appeared. As the light grew closer, I saw a golden center in it. When it stopped, the center was right in front of me and said nothing. Then I was told to look at the scene to my right. As I turned, my mom said it was okay, just let my feelings be known. I could see photos of my life on Earth, my old schools, all my friends, all my pets, all the pranks I played on my teachers. The last photos I saw were of my family, all the times I hurt my sister and all the games my brothers and I played. When it was over, I was asked if I had learned anything about how the others felt. I said yes, and that I was deeply sorry for all the pain I had caused them. The light said that I had a choice to make. I was free to stay or I could go back. The crossing point was right in front of me. All I had to do was walk across those 2 feet, but if I did, there was no going back. I would be there to stay if I crossed those 2 feet. I said that I wanted to stay, but I couldn't bear knowing how my family would feel if I did. I wanted them to be happy, and that was important, but I knew they would miss me too much for me to be content if I stayed. I was told it was okay for me to go back. It was my choice. Then the golden light told my mom to take me back. She agreed and said, "Okay, baby, just lay down and keep your mind on me. It's okay to be scared, but just remember you're going to be all right. Remember that I love you, your brother, sister, and your dad. I will be here for all of you, including your new stepmom." She then instructed me to close my eyes, and when I opened them again, I would be back with my dad in my body. She also mentioned I would feel pain, but it would be bearable. I would be home in about a week, and I would fully recover from my stomach cancer in a few months. With my eyes closed, I felt myself drift back into my body. As this happened, I saw words and answers flash before me, almost as if I was gaining all the answers to every question I could ever ask. When I opened my eyes, about 6 hours later, my family was by my side, relieved to see I was back. I struggled to articulate what I had experienced, especially the part I believed was hell. It was challenging to convey or get them to understand that I had been in hell for a time. My mom was mistaken about me being in pain. I felt no pain and was discharged from the hospital about a week later. I made a full recovery from my stomach cancer within 3 months.
That was truly an awe-inspiring story. A massive thank you to Joe for opening up and sharing such a personal and profound experience with all of us. If Joe's journey resonated with you, or even sparked your own questions about life's mysteries, please give us a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time. Journey with us as we continue to explore the vast unknown. Until next time, take care, stay curious, and keep exploring the incredible mysteries of life and beyond.